Karina Coetzee. I'm the co-chairperson for the National Intersectorial Committee on Trafficking in Person for South Africa, and I'm here today to share my knowledge on the national legal frameworks with the group. I am, as I said, I'm the co-chairperson for the National Intersectorial Committee, but I'm also a prosecutor, and one of the cases that my mandate covers is trafficking in persons, as well as sexual offences and offences against children. The knowledge I share is primarily directed at enabling them to identify victims. Today we haven't dealt with the protection, but I believe that is tomorrow. But none of the protective measures can be applied if we do not successfully and correctly identify the victims. So that is primarily what I'm here to do, is to assist the group here to be able to acquire the skills and the knowledge to be able to correctly identify victims of trafficking. Our courts are actively participating in the prevention by the prosecution of trafficking. In other words, we are really the arm that combats trafficking in persons. Unfortunately, as with most GBV, and I mean, trafficking is really a form of gender-based violence. If you look at your particular victims and the particular reason or the purpose why they were trafficked, you will definitely find that certain forms of exploitation is primarily for certain genders. So if you look at gender-based violence as a whole, and trafficking in particular, what makes it specifically difficult to police and prosecute is it very often originates from home. It's very difficult to police home circumstances. And unfortunately, especially where that's the trafficking of children, it would primarily be the source of the trafficking would be from the home. In other words, mum selling or parents selling the baby on Facebook, or selling the child for sexual exploitation on the internet. And furthermore, it's a hidden crime if the purpose for the trafficking is labor exploitation, especially labor on our farms and in our mines. It's very difficult to police. Unless someone report or unless someone escape, we would probably never know about it. I think this is an extremely important partnership. When our legislation was being developed, the Catholic Church actually did play a huge role in negotiating or directing the path of our trafficking legislation. So our legislation is actually extremely good in terms of preventing and combating of trafficking. As I've said, I think the most important part of this group is to understand how to identify, look at the signs. We've also noticed in terms of our rescued victims, as well as research that was done, that faith-based institutions are very often where victims would report. And they would not necessarily report and say, I've been trafficked. They would report and say, I'm in an abusive relationship, or I'm being forced to do sex work. So if you don't understand the language of what is happening to them, you won't be able to correctly identify them. And that is why these type of sessions are so very important, and why government and civil society must really come together. Unless we all do our bit. And as I say, if you can't identify the victim correctly, none of the services will ever be applicable to that victim. And the trafficking, and we will never make a dent in as you've pointed out, the extreme volume of the amount of trafficking we're dealing with.